October 1st, 2017, 22,000 people at a Vegas country music festival. High security, bag checks, the works. Gunfire rains down. 60 people don't make it home. July 13th, 2024, Butler, Pennsylvania. A Trump rally. Metal detectors, Secret Service, cops everywhere. A shooter gets off a shot from an elevated position, grazing Trump's ear and killing one in the crowd. New Year's Eve 2025, New Orleans. A truck slams into a secured crowd. 15 people are dead before anyone knows what's happening. These were high security events, concerts, rallies, places that you would expect safety. But when the shit hits the fan, most people freeze. They didn't have a plan, they have very little situational awareness, and that left them with no shot at making it out alive. That's why we're going to be breaking down this gray man theory. How to move unnoticed, how to avoid trouble and get out alive. This is a multi-video series, and in today's video, it's going to be all about high security events. Concerts, festivals, sporting events, places where your bags are going to be searched and weapons are just not an option. All you've got is your training and some basic items. Survival is not about the gear you carry, guys. It's how you think, it's how you move, and how you react. Returning viewers, you may have noticed that the channel name has changed. We used to be called The Outdoorsman, and now it's Prepared Citizen. It's the exact same channel, same content style. I changed it to Prepared Citizen because this channel has evolved. Being a prepared citizen is a mindset, and my goal is to always be a better prepared citizen. If you're watching this channel, I'm assuming that that's most likely your goal. New folks, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, and if you want to support the channel even more, consider joining a YouTube membership or heading on over and checking out my Patreon. It means a lot to me. Now, for you returning viewers out there, you know I constantly preach training on this channel. So to help you guys all out, I'm going to throw in some at-home exercises that we can all practice before heading to these types of events. No more talking, let's get right into this video. All right, before we talk about it, we got to define it. What is the gray man theory? If you've never heard of it, it's about blending into a crowd so that you don't stand out, but the whole time you have high situational awareness. You got to picture yourself at one of these concerts or that big game, high security spots that have bag checks, metal detectors. You're not getting in with a gun. And then something goes wrong. Most people are going to panic. They're going to freeze up. Or, unfortunately, they're going to pull their friggin' phones out to try to film the chaos, hoping that they're going to go viral. The gray man? He's the guy that nobody notices. He's moving quietly through it all. And when the shit hits the fan, he is already heading out the exit. This isn't some made-up nonsense. This is a survival mindset. It's the kind of thing Tier 1 operators train for years to master. You have to remember, at a high-security event, you are not walking in with that firearm, right? You're left with minimal tools. You're surrounded by thousands of people. If trouble hits, standing out makes you a target. A shooter could potentially zero in on you. Security might think you're up to something. Yeah, we don't want that. But the gray man theory says don't let that happen. You blend in, you look normal, and you act normal, but you are always switched on. Ticks are out. All right, guys, let's talk about what you actually can do before we get to these events to pre-plan. First thing we need to do is a little bit of research, right? We need to know the venue and the area around it. We want to pull up those maps on our phone. We want to see that inside layout, streets, parking lots, really everything. Now, when we're buying tickets online, we're already looking at that seating chart, right? So we want to screenshot that. It's going to be far easier for us to pull that up on our camera roll than it is going to be to access those maps, especially if the web is down, Wi-Fi, cell service, whatever. You want to study that hard. You want to know every single exit, main doors, side exits, fire escapes, service corridors if you can. Now, most people follow those big entrance signs because finding the way into a venue can sometimes be difficult. But if something goes wrong, trust me when I tell you, everybody's going to jam into that same entrance point to try and get out. That's what we call a choke point. On those venue maps, you're going to be wanting to look at bottlenecks, narrow paths, fenced areas, anywhere where you think a crowd might pile up. If you're going with a group or your family, make sure that you guys pick a rally point outside ahead of time. Make sure it's something that everybody's going to recognize when their adrenaline is just surging through their bodies. Make sure that you go to that rally point before you go into the venue. It's going to help a lot. It's going to put it in your brain. Okay, let's talk about clothing for a second and what gear that we should be carrying. Now, I highly recommend that you avoid wearing those military-style shirts. Trust me, I am a big fan of grunt style. You've seen me wearing them, but sometimes that doesn't fit in. We already know where we're going, right? So if we're heading to the big game, to our favorite sports teams, obviously we're going to be wearing a jersey or something that supports that team. And the same thing goes for a concert. Maybe we're going to see Creed, which happens to be my favorite band. So of course, I'm going to be wearing a Creed shirt. I'm not here to tell you what to wear because really we need to focus more on how we act. And here's one thing that I definitely have to mention, and I hate that I have to mention it, but it's footwear. Do not mess around when it comes to footwear. You need to be wearing sturdy shoes. If you have to run or if you have to get out of an area extremely fast, you need to be able to move. If you're wearing friggin' flip-flops or those god-awful Crocs, I don't even understand why men wear Crocs. They're not even comfortable and they look so stupid.
Crocs, I'm officially in.
You're not going to be able to move fast. You might slip and you're going to break your ankle and then you're screwed. I usually wear these Solomons right here. I do have Merrells. I have other shoes as well. It all depends on where we're going and what my wife says I can wear. Which brings me to my next point. Ladies, I get it. High heels are awesome. You look super cute. Cowboy boots, they sound amazing when you're walking on concrete. And trust me, my wife, she wears flip-flops all summer long. I've just had to train my brain and train my body that I'm most likely going to have to pick her up, throw her over my shoulder so that we can run out. Ladies, don't let fashion be your downfall. You can buy cute shoes that are still going to help you get out of a situation. Personally, I don't bring backpacks to events, just because most venues don't even allow you to bring a backpack in anymore. Now, I've seen Joe Rogan wearing that super slick leather fanny pack, and trust me, he can definitely pull that off. But my wife would kill me if I ever left the house wearing a fanny pack. Now, me personally, I want to carry things that fit into my pockets. So let me show you what I carry to these types of events that are going to keep me safe and hopefully, potentially, keep other people safe as well. Now, we've already established, I think a few times, that this guy right here, little multi-tool, yeah, we're not going to be able to bring that into these events. One of the first things that I never leave without when I leave my home is one of these little Surefire flashlights. These are super bright. It's very small, easy to fit in your pocket, doesn't stand out at any type of security, doesn't register as anything nefarious. So I would highly recommend you pick up a very small flashlight that you can keep in your pocket. Now the next thing that I carry, oh yeah, one of these bad boys right here, a bandana. Now ever since I started shaving my head, I do notice I get a little sweaty. So it's perfectly normal for me to carry one of these bad boys, wipe the sweat off my brow. Now a bandana can also be used to make a makeshift mask that we put over like this to filter out smoke, because we all know that a simple piece of cloth can keep out even the most dangerous viruses from entering our body. You could also use a bandana to dress a wound, and if you have a big enough one, you can make a makeshift sling. Now, one of the other things is these little tactical pens. I do not personally own one, but I have seen good things about them said online. Now, this could be used as a striking tool or a stabbing tool. Now, trust me, I cannot verify any of this, but by all means, it's inconspicuous. It's not going to hurt you to have one in your pocket. And truth be told, security people, they're not even going to know what it is. All right, now we're talking about cash, right? All right, cash. Yeah, for Christ's sakes. Okay, cash, ladies and gentlemen. Cash is something that nobody carries, and inside my wallet, yeah, there's no cash because my wife doesn't trust me with cash. But putting 10 bucks, maybe 20 bucks in your pocket, it's always good to have. And you really never know if you're going to have to use it. And trust me, it does not take up any room. Which leads me to this, my wallet. I always have my wallet on me. And you may have seen this wallet in some of my other EDC videos. This is a Dango Products wallet. And it does have this little tool inside, if I can pull it out, right here. I still haven't had to use it, so I can't tell you what it's going to be good for, but I got it if I need it. All right, now all the things that I just mentioned are part of your training. If you start getting into the habit of screen capturing maps, making sure all your batteries are charged, having a clean, snot-free bandana, all of these things will put you a step ahead before you even get to the venue. You gotta train for this. Don't think you're just gonna know how to do it all at the next event that you go to. All right, so we've just arrived at our event. This is where it's gonna get real. Blending in, staying alert, this is the stuff that's gonna keep you alive. Where you position yourself in a crowd matters. Now, I personally like to stand near an exit or a side door, but sometimes we can't do that. We've already purchased our tickets and we have an assigned seat, and that's where we're stuck, but that doesn't mean that's where we're trapped. If you have a choice, purchase a ticket near an aisle or an exit. We definitely don't want to be buying tickets where we're smack dab in the middle of that crowd. If I'm at an open air event, I want to be away from fences. Often people are going to push towards those fences, and there's a chance that, well, I could be crushed up against the fence. That's a shitty way to die. When inside the venue, I like to take a look for large concrete columns or anything that has mass, something I could get behind if bullets start flying. We want to be looking for objects that could slow down or stop a bullet. We need to practice on learning how to read a crowd. Crowds react in one giant mass, and they don't all panic at once. It builds slowly, kind of like a wave. If you see security or police running towards a specific area, that is a sign that something is off. If you see people starting to look off in all different directions, well, this is a sign that you need to start moving. Now, you don't want to be obvious. You don't want to be looking around like this, like you're looking for a sniper. And you definitely don't want to be, staring down police or security all the time, because remember, we're here to enjoy ourselves. Okay, let's talk about distractions for a minute. Distractions, these are a big thing. Every single one of us has a cell phone. Yep, we probably might want to film our favorite song or make sure we record that, big touchdown, which we don't get in Massachusetts anymore since Brady left. This might be hard to believe, but I have actually seen people watching a TikTok video of the concert that they are already at. This is a major distraction. Keep your cell phone in your pocket. You can still be aware, and you're going to enjoy yourselves a lot more if you're not looking at a screen. So here's some drills that we can do at home, and we can practice before we even get to that event. One of the ones I like is exit awareness drills. Now, every single time that you walk into a store or you walk into a room, you want to find 3 exits within 10 seconds. We don't want to be focusing on that main exit. We want to look for other points of egress. Maybe we can head out to the mall or the local grocery store. You want to look at how people move. How do people end up in big clumps? What directions do people drift? If a catastrophe were to break out, where would we get stuck? Where would we get blocked in? Another great one, instinct rehearsal. Pick a random moment and ask yourself, if something were to happen right here, right now, where do I go? What's my move? This is going to help train your brain to be always looking for a way out. Now, some nonverbal cue drills. Practice watching a crowd without looking too suspicious. Track people's posture, their direction of movement, and of course, the most important, their facial tension. Can you spot the guy who's not dancing to the most popular song? Can you see the person who's focused, locked onto those security officers? You want to learn how to clock that guy or that gal in 10 seconds or less. If we practice these things and we get extremely good at them, when we get to our event, we're not a spectator anymore. We are a quiet observer. You're watching while everyone else is distracted. You're going to be ready when most people are frozen in panic. Remember, you've got to train for this stuff. I'm going to say it every section, so deal with it. Don't expect this knowledge to be there when you need it. Situations happen fast, right? Your reaction time in those first 5 seconds decides if you're going to walk away or not. You cannot hesitate. You cannot overthink. Just move. So let's go through some scenarios that could actually happen, so maybe we have a better plan. All right, active shooter. You hear gunfire. The crowd is starting to panic. Now, don't stand there like an idiot looking around for the shooter. Run. Go straight as fast as you can. You want to run away like this. Don't be zigzagging like this and dodging around, because I'm telling you, it's pointless. You're going to get shot. You want to look for solid cover. Thick walls, concrete barriers, my truck, vehicle engine block, or even a tire. Plastic chairs or your hands over your head, it's pointless. You need to get behind real mass. Now, tires are fantastic cover. You can actually get right down behind these guys and you can get some pretty decent cover from the tire. Now, this bad boy right here, not only does it give me great cover from bullets and shrapnel, but if I lay down, I can look and I can potentially see where my attacker is coming from, and it gives me, much more of a chance to move and get out of the way. Now, you want to try and keep moving cover to cover, but what if you're cornered? What if you're trapped? That attacker, he's coming straight for you, which leaves you with no other option. You have to fight. When it's fight or die, don't hold back. You have to go ruthless. No regret, no hesitation. You do not stop until that threat has been neutralized. And this, for a lot of people, is where it gets tough. You either need to decide if you're going to die in the fetal position crying like a little bitch, or you're going to get up and you're going to rush that attacker. Probably going to get shot there too. Either way, you're going to die. So you have to choose how you're going to go. But here's the other thing too. Don't assume that that attacker is some lethal tier 1 operator. Most shooters in these scenarios, they have no training. Blue hair, but no training. They're running on instinct and pure emotion. You have a real chance of overpowering that attacker if you go all in. Cars, they become much more effective weapons lately. You hear engines revving, you hear people screaming, it's time to move. Don't look around. Don't grab your phone to record it. Just go. You want to move at a 90-degree offset angle from that vehicle's path. Remember, cars are always fastest in a straight line. Once you're clear of this line, you want to try and find some cover. Cement pillar, big truck, anything that's solid that vehicle can't drive through. Also, you want to try and move as far away from that vehicle if it stops, because there's a pretty good chance it could explode. Here's the thing that I don't like talking about, fire and smoke, because this is actually something that I'm afraid of. When a fire breaks out, the smoke is what kills people the fastest. And it kills fast, trust me. Most people panic and they're gonna rush the main entrance. Smoke rises, visibility drops, and in seconds, you're not gonna be able to see where you're going. That layout training that we did earlier, that's gonna be a big help here. Now, we all know fire basics. We learned this when we were kids, but let me just talk on it real quick. You wanna get low. You wanna stay below that smoke line. But it's tricky though. There's a lot of people in there, and if you're laying on the floor trying to breathe, there's a high chance that you're gonna get trampled. You need to get out fast, and I am not a firefighter, nor do I ever want to pretend to be one. Those guys are balls to the wall awesome. But running into a burning building full of smoke, yeah, that's not for me. I'm gonna die. So once I get outside, I'm gonna remove myself from that environment, let those boys do their work, and if they need help, I'm sure they'll ask. All right, let's talk about it. Secondary attacks. Now, this is something that I don't really see a lot of other YouTubers really ever talking about. And I really do think it's worth mentioning, and I just wish more people would talk about it. Now, most attacks, they end within that first, immediate wave, but not always. Now, overseas, there are some terrorists out there that are going to stage a secondary type of attack. They wait for police, they wait for the medics to show up, and then they strike again. These are the Fedayeen and Fedayeen style warfare. The first attack lures in the police, first responders, things like that, and then they go in and slaughter the rest of them. These Fedayans, I don't really give a shit how to pronounce their name. They are ruthless, and they are going to fight until either they are dead or the people that they're attacking are dead. Now, this hasn't happened in the United States yet, but it is very common overseas. Now, if you survive that first hit, you want to stop, you want to recalibrate, you want to wait, and you want to observe and make sure that there's not a second wave coming in before you go in to try and render some type of help. Okay, how to train for this at home? Well, this is a tough one. Now, these reactionary drills, these are actually a lot of fun to do. At some random moments, have your friend or your significant other yell, "Run." Your goal is to get out of that spot as fast as possible. You want to hit your predetermined rally point. Trust me, this trains your muscle memory. Do it until reacting almost becomes, well, automatic. Now, this is one that I wish I could show you guys better, but because of filming restrictions, I just can't. But walk around your home, your office, any other public space, and label the items in your head. That table over there, is that concealment? Giant steel column, that's cover. You want to train your brain to know what is cover and what is concealment, and how you can use those things to your advantage to, well, get out alive. All right, mental rehearsal. This is a big one for me, guys, so we're going to do it together. I'm going to get right in here on this camera. How am I looking? All right, we look very beautiful. Okay, let's go here. Put our heads back. Now, close our eyes. We're going to picture a crowd. We're having a great time. The weather is beautiful. We're enjoying ourselves. We're having a drink, a cocktail, whatever. We're on top of the world. It's relaxing. Boom! Gunshots ring out, explosions happen, people scream, you're covered in blood, you have 3 seconds. What do? Visualize this stuff over and over. That's how I do it. And that's how special operators and highly trained people worldwide do it. When the shit hits the fan, you don't have time to think, but if you've trained for it, even a little bit, you'll be ready and you'll be moving while everyone else is frozen, stuck in place, raptured by fear and anxiety. Oh my gosh, we have made it to the end of the video, and that tells me that you guys who watch to the end, you are actually serious about becoming a prepared citizen. In the next video, we're going to be diving into the gray man theory at a mall or other open air event, someplace where security is not so high, a place where we can carry some things to help protect ourselves and hopefully protect others. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, you watched the whole video, so hit that subscribe button. If you want to help the channel more, think about signing up for a subscription here on my YouTube channel, or if you want, you can head over to Patreon. I update that a little bit more. You guys are what makes this channel awesome, so thank you, and I hope you all realize that. Remember, the best time to prepare was yesterday. I'm gonna fall. And the second best time is now. That's all I got for you. See you next time.